我印象最深刻的是，总书记提出了要提升保通保畅能力，确保人民群众平安健康出行。当我们视频连线的时候，这个画面上出现总书记的时候，我们都非常的激动。视频连线的过程中，我们也深刻的感觉到总书记非常的平易近人，对我们非常的亲切，而且非常的关心基层干部职工。现在节前春运高峰，车厢里的客流也越来越大，我们也会带着总书记的关怀，更好的为旅客提供优质的服务，让旅客平平安安回家。
我印象最深刻的是，总书记提到了我们交通运输部门的工作人员埋头苦干、担当奉献，这对于一名一线客运工作者来说特别的自豪，因为我们的工作得到了肯定。
对于总书记提出的这个要求当中，我感觉印象最深刻的是对于这个春运期间的运输安全问题。因为我的职业是一名高铁司机，驾驶每一趟这个旅客列车呢，保证安全是最重要的。尤其是在春运期间，车流量大，人员密集，所以说保障每一趟这个旅客能够平安的到家，这是我们的责任。当时与总书记视频连线，我感觉非常的激动，总书记给我们的感觉是非常亲切的。总书记从话语中也无时无刻不透露出对我们运输生产一线工人的关爱，字字句句也都激励着我们。所以说，我们要将总书记的嘱托，包括一些指示，严格落实作业的标准，确保每一趟高铁旅客列车安全正点，把每一名旅客安全地送到目的地。
On the occasion of the Chinese New Year in 2023, people working and studying in different places packed their bags and returned to their hometowns to celebrate. However, the streets in China are not decorated with lanterns to welcome the new year, but are filled with people attending a funeral. The gloomy atmosphere made people's hearts heavy. In addition, a large shopping mall in Shenzhen hung many white lanterns, attracting lively discussions, saying this was a mourning for the Chinese people. The mourning scene on the way home to celebrate Chinese New Year. On January 20th, Twitter account Cloud Flying posted a video saying everyone was supposed to celebrate the new year. Still recently, when they returned home, every household along the road held a funeral, very different from the festive atmosphere of the upcoming Lunar New Year. This is also in stark contrast to the so-called positive energy of Lunar New Year that the CCP officially promotes. Many videos also show the pandemic spreading rapidly in China, especially in rural areas where the healthcare system is poor and many older people have sadly died. A Chinese netizen posted on Weibo, "My father also passed away in the same way a few days ago. He passed away after only a few hours of respiratory failure and unconsciousness." Other netizens commented, "My grandma also passed away a day before yesterday, and my grandfather passed away on Christmas Eve. It took less than 24 hours after the onset of illness to his death." Previously, according to Huarenbang, former CCTV host Fang Dong also said on social media that his father had white lungs due to happy hypoxia. On January 13th, another person pointed out, "My uncle passed away. He died while he was in the countryside. These days, I hear that in my hometown, old people die almost every day, and some are transferred to the hospital for treatment." Regarding the tragic pandemic situation in China on the eve of the New Year, some netizens criticized, in the future, even funerals will not be allowed because it exposes the dark side of the society, and the fundamental rights and right to know of the Chinese people have been taken away. According to Vision Times, some people are disgruntled with the government's disregard for fundamental human rights. The Lunar New Year is approaching, and the funeral is held very lavishly, very party spirit, said one person. Netizens praise major shopping malls in Shenzhen for hanging white lanterns to welcome the new year. Earlier, many lanterns with black characters on a white background were hung at Galaxy Coco Park, a shopping mall in Shenzhen's Fujian district, attracting attention. In this regard, some Chinese people lament that almost every family has a funeral during the new year. According to Study CLI, red lanterns are lanterns used to decorate festivals in China. They are also a symbol of China and even have a specific political significance in China. The red lantern is derived from the 8 red lanterns that were hung on the Tiananmen Tower in Beijing in 1949 and after the founding ceremony of the CCP. The Legal Evening News reported in 2014 that 8 palace-style red lanterns would be hung on the Tiananmen Gate during the major festivals, important meetings, and important celebrations. Former Chinese Premier Zhao Enlai chose the lantern model. Because of this, some Chinese netizens praised Galaxy Coco Park, insinuating that the action was a mourning for the people and a funeral for the CCP bandits. Others also said, "The white lanterns are hung reasonably. The new year is here. We must pay respects to our ancestors and those who died in the pandemic. This is our sincere voice. Living under the CCP regime, can there be joy? Besides, the CCP is about to enter the funeral home. The white lanterns are the signal. These white lanterns all represent the Chinese people who have been killed by the CCP. It is right to hang white lanterns to welcome the new year. This is called the year of mourning.
无人机加烟花的这种形式非常的震撼，让人有一种耳目一新的感觉。就是现场看这种科技加文化，就代表了我们现在整个的科技的发展这种蒸蒸日上的过程。
作为市民，我们不出家门都能看到这么好的灯光秀，心里真的是非常非常的开心。
China's northernmost point is celebrating the Year of the Rabbit with the return of the record cold that has not been experienced since 1969. Beijing Youth Daily reported that the temperature in Mohu City, Heilongjiang Province, plummeted below negative 50 degrees Celsius at around 8 a.m. on January 20th. Citing local forecasters, the publication expects the extreme weather to remain in the 2 days that follow, which marks the first and second day of the Year of the Rabbit. Even locals were unaccustomed to the frigid environment. They say when they're out, it feels like their bones are turning crispy from the strong freeze. This woman says that she's only been out for 10 minutes when this happened to her face.
出来10分钟，看我这脸、眼毛，还有这个帽子上，全都是冻霜啊！这就是大东北的冬天，能见度都非常低，冻得都冒白烟儿。给大家看看远处啊，能见度都非常低，冻得都冒白烟儿。
A resident named Yu said he went out with the thickest clothing he could find on January 19th, but it felt like he did have anything on after he walked outside. Xu Changyi, a law enforcement official in Mohu City, said his mobile phone turned off just half an hour after he went outside while it was still in his pocket. This occurred even as the device was fully charged. For a camera, he said, he could only take 5 to 6 pictures before the cold temperature numbed its battery. It worked again after being heated up. The rare cold makes outdoor duties a haphazard task. He said they had to switch shifts every 10 minutes just to ensure their own safety. Hot water becomes a wishful treat for them as the extreme cold will quickly freeze it after a short period. Xu said that they would just melt some snow just to keep them hydrated. This video should best illustrate what the policeman has described. In China, Mohu is the highest latitude and the lowest temperature. According to China News Network, the last time it witnessed such extreme weather was back in 1969 when the cold dropped to negative 52.3 degrees Celsius. Annually, its average temperature stays at negative 3.8 degrees Celsius. The Chinese government suddenly lifted the lockdown order without prior preparation, causing the pandemic to reemerge and cause heavy damage to the whole country. The Chinese people and many disgruntled officials are waiting to see what next joke Xi Jinping will play. Bao Jian, the daughter of Bao Tong, secretary of former General Secretary of China Zhao Ziyang, posted on Twitter about a resident's personal experience while doing his father-in-law's funeral. The body truck assembled by the Department of Home Affairs was disguised not to look like a hearse from the outside, avoiding discussion. It is not possible to immediately bring the ashes from the funeral home, but one must wait 3 days to 3 months. The above news focused on the discussion, how many people have died in the end? Some netizens left messages saying that they have to wait for 1 or 2 years to have their loved ones buried at a revolutionary cemetery. This problem is not small, meaning that many old cadres have passed away. Some people asked if it takes 3 days to receive the ashes, how would family members know if the ashes obtained were their loved ones? It is like the previous nucleic acid sampling. The body's ashes may be mixed up. How many souls did an urn contain? In NTD's elite forum on January 15th, Chen Chuangchuang, the person in the black suit sitting on the far right, executive director of the National Committee of the Democratic Party of China, said that once a veteran CCP cadre dies of COVID, his family will undoubtedly be furious. This is not only a matter of family affection, but also a very serious issue. Guo Jun, editor-in-chief of the Daji Yuan newspaper participating in the program, said that these people's families would rather use machines to save their lives, not let them die, otherwise they would no longer have benefits. Because the benefits are many times higher than the salary and that there are also power and political incentives, but just put in the Bao Baoshan funeral home, the benefits and power are entirely dissolved. The elite forum pointed out that, now, there is some information that the central and local governments are doing nothing and being lazy. Many people are waiting to see the next joke Xi Jinping plays, and the internal resentment is vast. Therefore, the outside world is skeptical that, under such circumstances, can the Chinese government, in the new term, function normally in the future. Zhang Nanhai's handling of the pandemic has caused divisions within the CCP's top leadership and shaken the regime's foundation throughout society. Bloomberg reported on January 18th that during this pandemic tsunami, Xi Jinping and other leaders of China did nothing, and the Chinese people were forced to save themselves and seek help from unions and companies. The government's ignorance has weakened people's trust in the regime. The report gives an example. Cher Xu, 31, a resident of Guangzhou, and her daughters both had a high fever of 104 degrees Fahrenheit, but there was only one expired bottle of anti-inflammatory and antipyretic medicine in their house. Xu recounted that she did not expect it to be so difficult to buy medicine. After being infected last month, she hoped the government would distribute the medicine, but was disappointed. She had to ask for help on social media and found a donation on WeChat. About an hour later, a stranger called her, offering 2 free COVID-19 rapid test kits. After 30 minutes, a woman told her she could give her 2 ibuprofen tablets. A female student in Beijing who volunteered to join a grassroots rescue organization questioned why the government did not inform the public to prepare before the lockdown was lifted. Bloomberg pointed out that this reflects people's loss of confidence in the Chinese Communist Party.